Hello. Today we're going to take a look at StudyPads in AndBible. Okay, we have AndBible open, and on the main menu again, we can find StudyPads. Now, StudyPads are closely tied to bookmarks. So whenever you create a bookmark, a associated StudyPad will also be created. So if we go into our StudyPads, we're going to see the same list as we saw under our bookmark labels. So each time a label is attached to a verse, that verse will automatically be added to our study pad. So let's go ahead and open up a study pad that we have here. So we have a salvation label. If I click on that and open it up, we can see it has our salvation label at the top, and it shows the color of that label. And then down here, it shows all of the verses that we have attached to that specific label. So each one of these verses, if I go over to it, we can see that this verse has a salvation label. You can also see this verse has the salvation label. Okay. Go ahead and close this window out. Go back to our study pad. And we can scroll down and see how the study pad is working. We have indentations here. We have verses. Continue scrolling down. We can see we have additional verses all listed. But the neat thing about study pads is we can add and rearrange these. So if we want to add something, we can come down here and click add, and we can just add a free-form note. So I've added a note here, and now that is just part of the study pad. Let's add that, and there it is. And what we can do too is we can rearrange these verses. So I can say, okay, click on this dot, grab this little part of my study pad and drop it up in there. Or if I want this Revelation verse to be located somewhere else, I can grab that and move that up. So this is really good for topical Bible studies where you might be wanting to share this study pad with someone else or a group, and then you're going to work down through. Or even sermon notes. I've seen people use this for sermon notes. You can create your sermon in here. You can drop in verses, and you can drop in notes. Now, some other features of this study pad is this option here. You can shrink down. So currently it's showing all of the verse text. But if I click this, it'll shrink it down to just showing a summary line. You can do that with any one of these. And then you can add your notes in between easier if you'd like. And you can always click on any one of these and just click the plus here, and that'll just insert a note right after that. So you could add a note about Isaiah 6:3. And you can, in these notes, add links to verses. So for example, if I want to add a link to Isaiah 6:3, I can click on this verse reference, type the verse in, click OK, and now we have a link to that. So we could jump over there if we wanted to. Any of these note sections or even these other sections can be indented. So if you had a specific note and you wanted to have some verses underneath that note, you can indent them. Just very nice. And then you can also modify even a note that has just a verse in there. So we can add notes about verse. So this becomes a really neat way of tracking notes on a specific topic like salvation, or for sermon notes, or for topical Bible studies. And where this becomes really powerful is the ability to share this with other people. So say we have this sermon or some notes that we want to share with someone. We can come up here and click on this menu and export StudyPad, which would export a zip file that someone else could import into their own AndBible instance. Or if they didn't have AndBible, we can come up here and do export as HTML. This is really neat. So we can go ahead, let's just go ahead and save this to our phone's downloads folder for now. And I'm gonna hop over to that file, to our files. And here's our HTML file that we exported. So let's go ahead and open this in our browser. There we are. We have all of the verses and the notes are all in there. And somebody could follow along sermons or however. It even keeps the verses shrunk down if you want it like that, or you can expand them out. And if someone's following along, they can click on that Bible reference and hop over and view that. Looks like this is using Step Bible in this case. Very, very neat. And then you can also modify this to your liking, and you can hop between different study pads and make changes as you'd like. Any changes that you make in the study pad will not affect the actual tag on the verse. As long as the verse is still listed in the study pad, that label will still be applied to that verse. So you can modify to your heart's content. And that's about it. You can change some text options in the study pads and in your workspaces if you'd like. But feel free to try it out. And if you like it and you find it useful, please do give some feedback or sponsor the app development for AndBible.